My name is Moses Powell. I've been studying Jiu-Jitsu for the last 20 years. I'm the master for Renda Visitational. And at this particular time, I'm a senior master in the art of Jiu-Jitsu Te and Jiu-Jitsu Ryu.
.radio.net presents to you some of the most deadly jiu-jitsu masters in the world. Trained in the vicious urban inner-city street combat system of Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, this art was created by the legendary Dr. Moses Powell, the father of American contemporary jiu-jitsu and the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. This network brings together 4 radio shows 4 nights a week, starting with Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Each one teach one, with the Pia Master himself, Grandmaster Urban Muhammad, and his protege, Professor Terrence Hale. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Modern Combat Masters, hosted by the inheritor of GM Billy Davis Jiu-Jitsu, guru of his own Filipino system, and Sanukas Master, Grandmaster Daryl Sargent, and his co-host, Sifu Reseda de Jesus. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. is Professor Tom Curry's radio talk show. A Kenpo master and professor of Sanukas Ryu, 20 years law enforcement, senior tactical training instructor for intelligence retired, and author of the official Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu testing and training curriculum. And Friday nights at 8 p.m. is Making the Connection, hosted by the president of DocRadio.net, Grandmaster in the art of Sanukas Ryu and Soke of Kuroshi Kaikan Martial Arts System, and president of the Family of Sanukas organization, Soki Hassan Khalik, and his co-host, Shihan Farouk Gibbs. All of these shows can be linked to online by typing in docradio.net or listening live at the scheduled time by dialing 646-716-6825. DocRadio.net is also proud to present DocMagazine.net, the world's largest martial art magazine dedicated to Dr. Moses Powell, Sanukas Ryu Eye-to-Eye Jiu-Jitsu, Urban Tactical Street Self-Defense, and Streetology. Please join our Facebook group by typing in docradio.net and follow us on Twitter by typing docradio.net. Thank you for your support, and in the words of Doc, eye to eye, heart to heart, to the wall and back, os.
Eye to eye. We have a great show tonight. Welcome.
Radio.
Eye to eye. I have with me tonight Grandmaster Endakanda Mushaba, who's the senior Grandmaster of the Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu system, founded by Dr. Moses Powell. He's also the president of the USFA Federation, which is the Federation of Dr. Moses Powell. My co-host and my teacher, Sensei Salahuddin Al-Jabbar, he'll be joining us shortly. And tonight is an interesting show because we'll be taking live calls. And I already see that we have one call who I'll get to in a minute, ending in 7693. So you make sure you don't go anywhere because I'm going to ask you some questions in a minute. And right now, to get right into it, I'm going to ask our guest, Grandmaster Endakanda, to introduce him right now. Come on, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, and brother, thank you both of you and Shihan Salahuddin for allowing me to come back again to to speak to the public, to the people, to the martial arts world on behalf of Dr. Moses Powell. And I've been thinking about doing this particular show actually for a month or so. It's just been on my mind, so I thought that I would reach out and see if we could move forward with it. So.
Hey, Grandmaster, 1 second. Not to put you, but our co-host Shihan just joined. Shihan?
Beautiful.
Good.
How are you, brother?
Good. Very good. Absolutely. Listen, I need to apologize to both of you gentlemen because I'm running on very rare battery and I'm driving, so you're going to be picking up a lot of noise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the phone on speaker and leave it on mute so I'll be able to hear everything you're saying, but you won't hear me. And when I have a question or something, I'll just pop on in and answer.
All righty.
Pop on in and ask one, okay? That way you won't catch all the background noise because I need to plug my phone in order to get a charge, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
All right, appreciate it. Shabazz, you got the board, run it.
All right, continue, Grandmaster. It's all yours now.
Yeah. Okay. The reason I wanted to come on and talk tonight with the people is because I wanted to try to bring some more another depth of understanding and clarity to the USFA, about what it is, why it was set up, who runs the USFA in the whole 9 yards. Because there's still some misunderstanding about the USFA and who runs it and how it all came about. So the way I want to start this is to let everyone know that the USFA is not a new organization. This is something that was up and running while Doc was alive. He started this, the USFA. And what happened was after Doc passed away, we were able to take up the mantle of the USFA and to try to continue what Doc started. So for people who thinking that, this is something that we try to throw together after Doc passed, that's not the case. It was already in existence, and at that time it was being headed by Grandmaster Charles Allen, who then turned it over to us because he said it was quite a bit of work and too much for one person by himself. So we were able to organize and set up the charter and the bylaws and to get a board of directors and what have you. Now, as far as who runs the USFA, it is ran by the members. And we have a president, of course, and, vice president and so forth. We have a board of directors. We have an executive committee. And what happened is there's no one person within an organization that makes a decision. When it comes to decisions being made that affect the members or the USFA or the direction we're going, it is something that is discussed with the members, and then it is discussed with the board of directors. And then the board of directors has to take a vote, a unanimous vote, in order to move forward on any particular thing. And then once that is done, then instructions is passed down to the executive committee and whatever they need to do, because they're responsible pretty much for the day-to-day operations of the USFA. And that's what the executive committee do. And the executive director, who is Brother Professor Saifullah, he is the executive director. He answers to the office of the president and the board of directors. Professor Cleveland Robinson, he is the current president of the executive committee. And we have Osei Jones, he is the vice president of the executive committee. So we have a structure in place. And so no one person or individual wields any power. So it is a effort to where everyone has to come together. They have to talk. They have to discuss. They have to disagree. And they have to finally agree for something to move forward. So it is not just some random act and somebody can say, this is what I want. And a lot of times where the confusion came into is the estate of Dr. Moses Powell, which is set up by his widow and Doctor's daughters. Again, I want to try to make it clear that that is a completely separate entity from the USFA. Their involvement in the USFA is simply that they recognize the USFA as the only legitimate organization that was already set up by Doc that will represent Sanuki's rule and the legacy of Dr. Moses Powell. So the USFA don't deal in legal matters and, sending out, any legal paperwork or going after people, whatever you want to call it. That is not the USFA job. We're here to bring in membership to promote Doctor's teaching, to promote his legacy. And what I want to do, and I want everybody to start, whether you're a Sanukis family member or just a martial artist who knows about Dr. Moses Powell. The thing is, what we need to do is to educate the general martial arts public about what Sanuki's rule is, about who Dr. Moses Powell is, what he left us, the great accomplishment that this man made, and the gift that he left with all of us to continue our growth and evolving. And the problem is that there's not enough information out there about Dr. Moses Powell or about Sanuki's. Because he never put together a book on the system and put out with all this, basic techniques going through beginners through black belt, and he never really wrote a book and put his philosophy out there, for the public. So that is something that will be done in the future, and it will be the official authorized version of what the Sanuki system is, and it will contain Doc's teachings and Doc's philosophy. And that right there would also help educate people more on who Dr. Moses Powell is. Now, we do have a USFA website that people can go to. All you got to do is just put in USFA and it'll come up. And also, the estate also has a separate website set up for Dr. Moses Powell, which is set up by the people who handle the estate by the company name of CMG Worldwide. They represent people like many famous dead celebrities, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, James Dean, you name it, And Dr. Moses Powell is the first martial artist to ever be represented by CMG Worldwide. They're all over the world, and they represent some of everybody. I mean, if you go to their website, CMG Worldwide, and look at the list of the different categories, it will blow your mind. But he's the first and only martial artist on their website. I mean, he's up there before any of them, before Bruce Lee, before, all the other martial arts greats. So we was blessed to be able to bring another addition or another category to CMG Worldwide, which they had never considered before. So that in itself is a great blessing for Doc. I've also been in touch with the Guinness Book of World Records, and I have been working to try and get Doc in the Guinness Book of World Records for the one-finger rollout. This is one of the many things I present. And so that's still in progress. They still have to be educated on what this is because they don't really understand what's going on. So I'm in the process of constantly talking with them back and forth and trying to educate them on what this means or who Dr. Moses Powell really was, so that they can get a clarity and hopefully we will be able to come to a conclusion to where we can get him in the Guinness Book of World Records because he deserves to be there, as everybody knows. So the USFA is an organization that is strictly about Dr. Moses Powell. That's it. Nothing personal from nobody, no personality conflict, nobody coming in promoting, their system and what they're doing. It's all about Doc. And the thing that is beautiful about it is that it doesn't matter your style, your race, your belief system. It is open to everybody in the world, anybody who's interested in martial arts. Even if you're not a practitioner, but if you're interested in a martial art, you can become a part of the USFA. You can be a business. You can become a part of the USFA. That will actually be good for the business because as the membership grows, you can offer special discounts to the members of the USFA and you generate more business for yourself. So there's a lot of advantages to being a member of the USFA. So it's open to everybody. And the thing is, you can be karate, kung fu, jiu-jitsu, aikido. It doesn't matter what you practice. It doesn't matter if you got your own personal style or system. That's all good. And we want you to keep doing what you're doing. But we want to have a place where everybody, regardless of style, can come together as family and practice the teachings of Sanuki's Rule, to practice the teachings of Dr. Moses Powell. And another element that I really want to bring to this is not only all of the techniques and the forms and all the things that he did, but we need to bring in the spiritual wisdom, the mental training and development that Doc have as part of his system, which is not widely practiced or widely known. Because there was such a deep mental and spiritual aspect to Sanukis. And I asked Doc one time, I said, what is the basic foundation or philosophy of Sanuki's Rule? And he said to me, his answer was, he said, Sanuki's eye to eye is based on the power behind the eyes of everyone, not only those who practice the art, but there's a part of everyone who has the ability to read the soul through the person's eyes. And he said the degree of that depends on how open a reader is and how open the one being read is. And so he says, you see, The awareness of the individual determines the amount of light, of truth that comes through the eyes from the soul. And he says that is what Sanuk is out of eyes about. It's more of a spiritual practice as opposed to a physical practice. And so there's a lot of different knowledge that should be written about and that should be shared concerning Sanuk's root. So I just wanted to really try and make sure that it's really clear to the public that we is about family, and we really mean that from the bottom of the heart. We're not about, there's sayings going around about, there's all of this dissatisfaction and all this split between, families and whatever. Let me tell you, everybody who is a member is there because they want to be there. We encourage everybody. We open the door to everybody. But if it's not your cup of tea, we understand. Not a problem. We're not going to take it personal. If you feel you want to continue to do your thing your way, we're not going to take it personal. But when you want to come home and be a part of the family, then we're going to welcome you regardless of who you are. No one is exempt to becoming a member. You can only exempt yourself by your actions, by the words that come out of your mouth, by how you do and how you treat the memory and legacy of Dr. Moses Powell. But we don't close the door on nobody. You shut the door on yourself. So I want to make sure that is clear, because I don't want people to feel that, we is, keeping certain people out. And we want everybody. We're not keeping certain people out. So that's important that people understand it. And as far as the Sanukis family is concerned, we're new as far as being restructured and having the whole board set up and having all the offices filled. So we just almost been through our first year. And across the first year or two, that's the year where you got to organize and where you got to make mistakes and you got to go through the learning curve, and you have to really put the foundation together. And so this is the pick and shovel work. And it's the work that most people don't want to do. Most people want to become a part when it's already set and it's already straight. But you got to have those who's willing to roll up their sleeves and get down and dirty and get in the mud and set the foundation and get this thing right. And that's what the first year or two is all about. So you can't really judge the success of the USFA by the first year or so. You have to really give it time to get grounded. So since we have the structure in place, what we want to do now is to create a membership drive. Our goal is between now and 2012, or the end of 2012. The minimum enrollment we want to have is 200 people. That's it. That's the minimum. From all walks of life, from all systems, from all styles. And so this is the first of hopefully many more radio interviews from the many members of the Sanukis family, the different masters and professors and teachers. And also, I've been talking to people who are not Sanukis members, but they love Dr. Moses Powell. And they love what they were able to get through a seminar or whatever they know. Who wants to come on a show and have something to say in support of USFA, in support of Dr. Moses Powell? Because they feel that a man of such a magnitude as him should be well remembered, and he should be a worldwide phenomenon. And it's up to us as the students to make sure that that happens. So we're not only going to just deal with the Sanukis practitioners, because until everyone really understand what's going on, people want to sit back, they want to wait, they want to hold on, they don't like this, they don't like that. Instead of sitting on the sidelines, jump into the fray. Come and join and be a part of this, and then speak your piece, and let us hear your ideas, and let us hear your thoughts. And then see where we can help together build this as a family. That's the best way to do it, because you can sit on the sideline and wait forever and wait until you're in the grave. But see, waiting is not going to do it. Doctor said you got to move on it. You got to be about action. Doctor said get out first. And you can't get out first by waiting on the sidelines. You got to be in it to win it. And that's the way he always said it, in the way he always taught it. So I'm encouraging you as Sanukis practitioners to get in it so we can win this thing. So we're not springing up. There's a lot of people that, that want to set up the Sanukis organization, do this and do that. There are, in my opinion personally, Johnny come lately, because this is our organization that we're running. It's not ours. It's never been ours. It never belonged to me. It never belonged to Cleveland Robinson. It never belonged to Shayfly Amarigi. It belonged to Dr. Moses Powell. And we're just continuing what he set in motion. And there's people who already have lifetime membership. They can tell you that it was already in existence before Doc passed. You know, our senior first vice president, Grandmaster Allen in Bermuda. He's a lifetime member. Grandmaster Charles Allen, he's a lifetime member. So there's people who are already aware that this is not a new thing. So we're just trying to take this to a whole new level. But the one thing that we're not going to do is just sit and wait for Sanuka's members to sign up. That's not what it's about. It's about everybody. So we're going after the general public, and I want everyone to do their part and talk about Dr. Moses Powell. Talk about the things that he taught. Talk about his philosophy. And what we have to do is to show the world that, yes, Dr. Moses Powell is a black man who never truly got his proper recognition. And unfortunately, that is typical of a lot of black people who need to have the recognition and reverence that they're supposed to have. But one thing that can change that around, and that's us. That's the people. If we show the world that we love this man and that we revere our teacher, then they will have to stand up and take notice. We will not let nobody disrespect us. We will not come out of our mouth with disrespectful things. We will do what we can to support and make sure that we got a strong foundation and that we show the world that we love this man and love what he has to offer us. That's the only way to do it. If the students don't show the law, how can we expect other people to show the law? If the students don't revere their teacher, how can anyone else revere their teacher? And that's the problem, unfortunately, among a lot of people of color, is it's so difficult for them to revere their teachers, to look at them with the admiration and respect and honor that they deserve. We aim to change that around. We aim to show the people that that's not true. That's a stereotype. And we're here to break all stereotypes. When Dr. First, was teaching his jiu-jitsu, and I used to read these interviews, people say, yeah, Dr. Moses Powell, Rashi style of jiu-jitsu, Gedo style of jiu-jitsu. Why? Because it was different, it was unique, and he broke the tradition of being locked into a certain way of doing things. Doc said, if it works, then use it. Period. In a fight, whatever you do to win is good. So it is not that you have to be nothing wrong with tradition, but sometimes tradition can lock you and it can conceal you, it can hold you from being able to expand even further. You have all these great ideas and the great things you want to bring to the table, but tradition said, well, no, you can't do that because you're stepping outside of the boundaries. But it's the people who was pioneers like Dr. Moses Powell, people who was the way showers like Dr. Moses Powell that stepped out and said, I dare to be different. And that's what he did. And we have to honor that and respect that because he taught all of us how to dare to be different, how to step outside of the boundaries of what people expect you to do. So, we have to be blessed with that. So let's revere our teacher. And not only that, all of us who is grandmasters and professors and masters, whatever title we have, is that we need to respect and honor each other. We need to come up off of the egos and all of the I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm that. Listen, man, we all students of Dr. Moses Powell, period. And we all come for one purpose, to keep his legacy alive in true honesty and integrity. And that's the code word, integrity. And that's how we have to operate. So we need to revere each other as students and as teachers. And we need to not get up this way, I'm a grandmaster too. I ain't got to listen to you. That's not the way Doc taught us. That's not what he wanted. That's the reason why he put this organization together. That's why family is in it. See, if we as family got disagreements, man, we go behind closed doors and we can holler and scream at each other and we can fight it out and we can take it to the mat, just like the radio show, on the mat. And that's how we can handle it. But in public, we show the unity and the love as family for each other and for our teacher. That's what we got to do. It saddens me to have to hear someone who's not a part of Sanukas to be able to stand up at one of our events and say, y'all got to stop all this infighting. Y'all is all, destroying Sanukas. That's a hurtful thing to hear. We don't want people thing around. And so our focus is not on the stubborn people, the recalcitrant people, the people who want to hold firm and say, I'm not budging. I'm not going to be a part of this. I don't like what you're doing. You don't have to like what we're doing. Just leave us alone and go do your thing. You know, let's just respect each other enough for everybody to go do what they're going to do. Let us do Sanukis. Let us do Dr. Moses Powell. Let us do the USFA. And if you don't want to be a part of it, that's all and well and good. We're not going to dislike you for it. We honestly bless you, wish you the best, and hope you're successful at what you do, and we want you to do the same for us. So let's revere each other. Let's revere our teachers, you know, and let's show the world the love that we got for this man. And that's what's important. And there's something else I want to do. There's a lot of elders of Sanukis, and I don't particularly mean elders in age, you know, that you have to be, you know, 80 and 90 and near death. I don't mean that. When I say elders, I'm talking about people who got in time, directly trained under Dr. Moses Powell, who got some real mat time with this man, people who got years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you know, with Dr. Moses Powell, the people who are elders under the Sanuki system. You know, so we put together a council of elders, and that is the pool of wisdom. That's the brain trust. You know, and we can always draw on a brain trust, on that pool of wisdom to be able to handle any situation that comes up, no matter what it might be, because there's enough within that brain trust, within that wise council of elders that can give advice that can be sound and that can be fruitful, and that's really, really important. So I feel we need a council of elders. It ain't got nothing to do with, you know, having a board of directors, you know, and all that's cool, you know, but I'm talking about ancient wisdom, you know, who really is about the teachings of Dr. Moses Powell and the wisdom that he shared with all of us. So they would be very important to the USFA. They'll be important to the USFA, to Sanukis, period, having a council of elders. See, you got people, you know, like myself, and I'm only using myself since I'm the one that's doing the talking, but there's a lot of, you know, but there's many others. But like myself, I started with Doc 10 years old, you know, and I'm you know, I've been with Doc 40 some odd years, and it's not, and when I mean been with Doc, I mean been with Doc. I don't mean, you know, I dropped off for, you know, 5, 6, 10, 12 years and come back, leave again and come back. I've been with Doc, you know, consistently, right through the time he was up into Vermont, even up until the time when people thought that I wasn't a part of Sanukis, when Doc and I had some disagreements. But see, that's my relationship with my brother. That's personal. They ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, you know. But I was never not a member of Sanukis, and I always had Doc back. Even during that so-called, you know, 2 or 3 years, I would always talk with Doc. I would always call Doc and say, you need me, just call me. I'll be there. And, you know, before Doc passed, he had sent me a message. I was in Hawaii. I was teaching some workshops on spiritual and energetic healing. And so I got a phone call when I was in Hawaii, and they said, man, I just talked to Doc. Doc said, Doc said, get your ass down here to Florida right away. He said, it's time. And he got to talk to you about what y'all talked about before. I said, okay, cool. I knew what that was. So I said, okay, when I finish up in here in Hawaii, I'm going to fly straight to Florida. But, of course, before I left Hawaii, Doc had passed. So I never got the opportunity to go and talk with him. So the whole thing is that the nature of Dr. Moses Powell, almost everybody had some kind of something with Doc at some point or another, but that's just Dr. Moses Powell, you know. But the man that I got to know that the public didn't see, the man was a teddy bear. The man had a heart, you know. I mean, you know, I was able to see a side of him that was sensitive, that was soft, that wasn't that monstrous man that you see walking on the mat tower over you. I got to see him in his vulnerabilities, you know, and that was a blessing. I got to see him interact with his children as a father, you know, and with his wife as a husband, and with his mother as a son. You know, so all these things was precious. You know, so I was really grateful to be able to be in a position to where, you know, I could see these things. And so all of that It just let me know the kind of man that we had as our teacher. And I say was and is, because the body dies but the spirit lives on. And if anybody thinks Doc don't swing through, if you don't think that Doc is watching over us, you got another thing coming, because he do. He always do. He always there. Sometimes you can feel the strength of Doc's presence. His spirit be with you, so powerful. But that's how spiritual the man was. And this is a part of Sanukis that we need to also bring out to the people. So Doc's philosophy, Doc had two philosophies, and I don't know if most people know that. I'm sure I'll probably get some people to say I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, but Doc and I have been together far too long for me to be confused. Doc had the Sanukis philosophy, and Doc had Doc's philosophy. And sometimes there's a difference between the two. But that was a personal thing. You had to really be into Doc and really know Doc to be able to understand what Doc's philosophy was as opposed to Sanukis philosophy. You know, so there was definitely some differences there. You know, but Sanukis has been structured in a way that if you really put the work, the foundation of what he gave us, then you could become an incredible practitioner of the Out of Sanukis rule. That's what Doc wanted. He wanted everybody to shine. And that was so important to him to see everybody shine. So we want to bring this kind of information out to the general public because we want them to know our great teacher. You know, you got Master Oyama, you got, you got Bruce Lee, you got Yeshiva, you got Oyama Shita, you got all these great teachers that's written history and got all these books out and all this information about them, and they still thriving. We need to do the same thing for Dr. Moses Powell because he deserves to be among the best. There's no question about that. You know, so we want to make sure that we can provide the same thing for Dr. Moses Powell. And it's going to take us as the students to make that happen. So it's really, really, you know, important. But we got to start at home. We got to start by first us respecting each other and showing love and integrity toward each other. Never let outsiders talk about what you're doing. Never let outsiders talk about your organization or what is and what isn't. You don't do that kind of, and you know, and you definitely don't side with outsiders against the people in your organization. You know, that is the problem. See, that's what makes people want to look at it and say, you know, that's just another ghetto organization. And that is so far from the truth. And we don't even want to put that type of image out there. We is a professional, upstanding, world-class organization. That's what we build it. And it's the people that support this and that's the members is what's going to make that happen. The power lies with the people. I'm a people person. That's who I want to please. That's who I want to serve. I want to serve the people. That's what's important to me. There is no power. So I'm the president, and what I say goes. To hell with that. What the people say goes. That's what goes. And there's a lot of great ideas out there that the people have. And so that's why I always say time and time again, my door is open. Talk to me. Email me. Write me. Call me. Tell me what you think. Share your ideas with me. You know, and then we would take these ideas and put them together, you know, and talk about it among the members, among the board, and see what we can come with. Of course, we're not going to take everything that everybody do. I mean, they don't take everything I do. I play certain stuff before the board, and they get shot down like anybody else. Then you just move on. You can't take it personal. So we got to let go of personal feelings and personal stuff and, you know, whatever personal things that people hold it. Let all that go. All that stuff died when we lost our teacher. All that's gone. When I was asked to take the helm of the president, before I agreed, I took a few days and I went in. I introspect. I thought, and I felt, and I meditated, and I wanted to be absolutely sure that I could give my 100% best to the organization, that I can let go of any personal thoughts or feelings or whatever the heck it is, that I can let all that stuff go, kill it, bury it, and come fresh and new and motivated. And that's what I was able to do. But instead of just grabbing a position, I had to really think about it, be sure that I'm worthy and I'm qualified because I'm representing my teacher. And I'm representing his legacy, so that was important. for me. And at any point, if I feel I'm not serving, you don't have to ask me to leave and vote me out. I will resign. I will walk, because it ain't about me. It's about Dr. Moses Powell. And that's the one thing I want to get in everybody's head. That's what it's about. Dr. Moses Powell and his legacy. And that's what we want to do. So let's respect the structure. Let's respect how the USFA is organized. You cannot work if you got too many chiefs and no Indians. Everybody has a position. The office of the president is not a position of power. It's an office that's called the president. It's an office that comes with a set of responsibilities and duties. Anybody can hold that office. So, and if you're a board member, it is a position that comes with certain responsibilities. And so when you look at it that way, you realize that, this person ain't trying to be in charge. He's trying to be God. He's trying to run things. And that's so far from the truth. Because I can't run things. It's set up in a bylaw, so can't no one person run nothing. As a family, we run things. We are in charge. And I, as the president, speak in the voice of the people. That's where I'm at. That's the kind of person that I am. So this organization, we want people to feel in the love of the USFA, the love of Dr. Moses Powell, the love of this. This was set up because, this is what God left for his children. He was not able to do what he wanted to really do while he was alive for his children. But maybe with our help, maybe even in death he can do these things. Maybe he can provide in the way he wants for his children, leave them a legacy. Let them benefit from Doc's teaching, from Doc's legacy, because they should. It's only the right thing to do. It's only the fair thing to do. So let's make this thing work for Doc's sake. And let's do it out of love for our teacher. And that's really important. So let's respect the structure. Let's not get into this ego trip, I'm a grandmaster too, and I'm a professor and I'm this and that. The thing is, I was so disillusioned with this one time, I had even refused to use my title of grandmaster. No, just call me Anaconda, Shaka Bushaba. That's it. That's enough. Don't call me grandmaster. Don't call me crap. Because I got sick of it. I got disillusioned with it. Because it got to be where, because when I got my rank, when I got my title, I got it when it meant something. I got it when you work for it. You have blood, sweat, and tears on that mat. Your ass was on that mat, man. I mean, it was shredded. Nothing was given. But you had to fight for what you got. And I'm not disrespecting anybody else. I'm just talking about the time when I came up. So you got people who really trained under Doc, who was on the mat, who were raised up there working under his tutelage. Then you got those who just took seminars. And then yet they want to say, I really trained with Doc. You know what? You did get some training from Doc, but it's a difference in your seminar training and when he was in a dojo. It's a big difference. But yes, all still good, all still Doc knowledge and taking nothing from nobody. But whatever you learn, bring those things to the table. Whatever you learn in those seminars, bring it to the table. Share it with the people. And let them know what you got from Dr. Moses Powell. And that's where it's at. So we got a lot of future plans. But what we need is members. This organization drives and strives off of members. It's the members that's going to make this work. Would you like to see a national headquarters for the USFA that can represent the legacy of Dr. Moses Powell? Would you like to see a museum in that headquarters where you can have, a lot of different artifacts that belong personally to Dr. Moses Powell? Would you like to have a viewing room where you can show the tapes and videos? Would you like to have an auditorium or a hall where you can do demonstrations and seminars and have events? We could do this. This is not out of our reach. There's no reason why we can't do it if anybody else can do it. And another thing that I really want to talk about is I find, it's a lot of times you hear people say, I don't want to be part of that because, I don't want to be part of politics. That word is a cop-out, man. That's politics. That's an easy way for somebody to say, I want to be part of politics. And so that makes it okay? Come on. There is no politics here. People, in their own delusions, create what they think is politics because of all of the talk and information is not correct. Why listen to a bunch of talk when you can come straight to the source and find out what's going on? That's the best way to do it. There's no politics here. And not coming because of politics is not an excuse. That's a lame duck reason for you not to come and be a part of what Dr. Moses Powell. He put this together for all of us. He put this together for all of us. Who are we to say it ain't good enough? We don't want to be part of it. You know, so we need to change these things. And we need to go after the people and bring in the membership so that we can have a world-class, well-respected organization with a headquarters, with a structure, where people can go and be learned, taught, and educated about Sanuki's rule. But we got to bring all the aspects. You can't just go out and do a bunch of techniques. That's not Sanuki's rule, just a bunch of techniques. That is a portion. That's a part. But it's not the whole thing. Where's the mental training? Where's the spiritual training? Where's the philosophy? That's a part of it. That Doc always exuded. Yes, I understand. Maybe everybody didn't get it. But that don't change the fact that it was a part of what he taught. So it was always there. You know, so let's not, you know, the thing is, a lot of times people still live in a dream world. They're still dreaming. You know, we got to wake up. We got to come out of those things. I mean, I'm out of the dream. Look into my eyes. You see, I'm out of the dream. Everybody got to make sure they're out of the dream. And you got to deal with the reality of what's going on right here and right now. That's what we need to do. So, you know, I just really want everybody to come and support the USFA. If you hear any negative talk, ignore it, because we're not about that. We're about peace. We're about family. We're about love. We will have disagreements as a family. All families do, but that's internal. It's not to be made public into a spectacle. Ignore that stuff. It's just somebody trying to throw salt. You know, trying to throw out some dirt. And why would you want to throw dirt on something that God created? So that's where we have to go with this thing. So, and I'm open at any time for any questions, just so you know. You still with me?
Yeah, I'm here, Grandmaster.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. You know, so, you know, this is so personal to me. See, the thing is, I'm here because I 100% understand Doc and Sanuki and what he wanted. See, there are those, and Doc said this to me himself. He said there's a handful of you that truly got it, really understand Sanuki. And I know a lot of people feel, well, you know, the real understanding of Sanuki just died with Doc, and that's not true. Doc made sure that he instilled that in some people. And he said only a handful of people really got it, about 6 people, really fully got and understand Sanuki. He said that to me first. I don't know what he said to nobody else. I don't know what, you know, what was said to me. And my thing is, I live in such integrity, and honestly, man, I don't have no time to be lying and making up stuff and playing no games. Ain't about that. There's so much other important stuff to happen. You know, so we have to come together and we got to go to work. You know, so we want everybody. Hey, step up to the plate. You know, push the USFA. Push Doc's organization, because that's who it is. Never forget that it's Doc's organization, 100% about Dr. Moses Powell, about his legacy. If anybody say to anybody, well, you know, this person is, that person is in charge, and this person doing this, and it's about them, that's all a lie. If somebody not saying it's about Doc, it's not the truth. That's all it's about. And you mean to tell me that we can't put our little personal differences aside to come together for Doc? Nobody wants you to stop doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Doc encourage people to create and to bring something to the table. So why were we discouraged? It makes sense. Keep it going. Bring it to the table. Share with your family. You know how when you got a regular household, you know, and all the children growing up in the household, and then at some point they all grow up and then they all go off their own, you know, different ways, you know. They become a doctor or a lawyer or a sanitation worker or a secretary or computer genius. But you know what? They can always come back home. When they come back home and walk through their door, All the rest of that stuff, the doctor, the lawyer, the sanitation worker, the computer genius, all that stuff stays outside, and they just become family, brothers and sisters. And that's the way we got to do it. We got to come home and leave all that stuff outside and become brothers and sisters. We got to be our brothers and our sisters' keeper. That is what it's about. That is Sanukis in the raw, being our brothers and sisters' keeper, because Doc certainly was. You know, we got to this, you know, people is hung up on, you know, Doc did this and Doc did that. Man, let me tell you something. There's not a man on the planet who ain't done something. There's no perfection here. You know, I said that before in one other interview. On earth, you're going to find a whole lot of imperfection. If you look for it, believe me, you go find it. It's always there. But let's not look for the good things. Let's not look for the perfection that is there. Let's look for the stuff that can unite us and bring us together in oneness and unity and love of brotherhood and sisterhood. Let's look for those things for a change. Let's drop all the drama. Let all the other stuff go. Nobody wants to be a part of an organization that is a drama series. You know, nobody wants that. So we need to let people know that that's not what it's about. So all artists, all martial artists, come and join us. Be a part of what we do. Support our seminars. You know, and as family, whenever any one of us giving something, we got to be there to support them. We got to support each other. That's the only way we all will be successful. Get the personalities out of it. Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. Man, fuck all that. Come and train. Come and work out. Come and support. And as a family, let's talk about the differences. You know, that's what it's all about. So I really want, you know, everybody to look at the USFA in a different light and see it for what it truly is, and not for the misunderstanding, misinformation that has been put out there.
Oh, Grandmaster.
Yes, sir.
Good. This is Shihan Saladin. I have a question here, the one that was brought up to me. The people, I need you to try to explain to the people in a little bit more detail about there's certain letters and things, cease and desist orders, and people are receiving letters. And we want to make sure they understand that that's not coming from you and how much control you or the organization, the United Snooker's Family Association, has over that. And I want to know if you can address that.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to address that. Man, one thing about me, man, I don't run from no questions, man. I encourage you. Bring them on, right? I need you know. Okay. This is it. This is the deal. If anybody have any letters about cease and desist, or you can't do this, or you know you can't use that image or likeness or whatever, that is not coming from the USFA. We do not have nothing, zero, nada to do with that. That's coming from the estate of Dr. Moses Powell and CMG Worldwide, who represents the estate. It's not coming from us. We don't have no authority whatsoever to send nobody a letter to cease and desist nothing. The one thing that the USFA always say is you know Sanukas, you got right from Sanukas, you can always teach Sanukas. Can't nobody take that from you. Can't no legal person take that from you. Doc gave you right, that's yours. And can't nobody tell you not to use Sanukas. Now, when it comes to Doc image and likeness and name and people making money off it, that's another story. That has to do with the estate. That ain't got nothing to do with us. We have absolutely no power, no authority. Because the thing is, I'm the president of the USFA. If I will get a cease and desist letter if I don't follow, according to what the estate set up. It doesn't matter. All of us have to understand that the state is there to protect our legacy and protect his family, to make sure that his family gets something out of it. And I think personally, it's only right that if people is making money off of Doc's name and likeness, why not share some with the family? That's all it is. Don't you think that's what Doc would have wanted? Don't you think that would make Doc happy to see that his family can be provided from off of what he left the world? So all these letters that people say that they're getting, it has nothing to do with USFA. We got no authority over it. We can't go and say to the state, we don't want you to send no letters, and we'll mess around and get a letter sent to us. So we ain't got no authority over that. We can't tell the estate nothing. Remember, our connection with the state is that they recognize us as the legal entity to represent Dr. Moses Powell since he started this organization. Anything that is not of the USFA is not legally, legitimately recognized, like Dr. Moses Powell would state. This is what he set up, and that's it. We can't tell a state what to and what not to do. You know, we have no authority over that. So a lot of people get confused, and they think that me or Professor Saifullah, or Professor Cleveland Robinson, that, one of us is out there sending out letters and trying to stop people from doing this and that, and that's absolutely not true. Myself, Cleveland, Saifullah, and everybody else, the board is powerless when it comes to the state. We're completely powerless. We can't do anything. So we don't want y'all to mix that up and say that, well, it's all together. They in cahoots together, and I know that, that's not true. That is absolutely not the truth. We're trying to run Doc's legacy and to keep his name and teachings alive. That's our purpose, and that's our only purpose. We're not trying to do legal things. We're not trying to be no governing body and, watching people and seeing what they're doing and not doing. Not at all. The state, that's what they do. They have lawyers. They do what they do. So I just want people to really get it and really be clear on that. Don't lump us into that and say, well, we're doing it. USFA is doing it, or any particular person in the USFA is doing it. That's not the truth.
Also, Grandmaster, you can address how much control the state has in the day-to-day operations of the USFA. You made it very clear that the state is a separate entity and and that the USFA has no influence on the state. They do what they want to do. They're a sole entity. But explain to our listeners and the people that may be on the borderline or the fence how much influence the state has on the day-to-day running and the decisions that are made within the USFA, if you could, sir.
Okay. The influence that the state has over the USFA is all of zero. That's it.
Yes, sir.
The decision that's made day to day is made by the board of directors of the USFA. They are making a decision. And the decisions that we're making is only pertaining to promoting and marketing the teachings and the legacy of Dr. Moses Powell. There's never no decision to keep people out, no decision to talk bad about nobody or to spread negativity. That's not who we are. We got flags, man. We don't do that kind of stuff. It's not our cup of tea to be negative toward nobody else, because everybody got a right to express themselves and do what they do. But yes, we trying to create a home so everybody can come home and have a beautiful family meal and eat Sanukas and get full and then go back and do some more. That's what it's about. So, no, the state has no decision-making powers over the USFA. They don't let us interfere in them. We don't let them interfere in what we do. And that is the truth of the matter. The only thing the state could do is to say, you know what, I don't like what y'all doing. I'm going to not recognize y'all no more. I'm going to, revoke my sanction. They can do that. But that's it. That's it. So they don't have any decision-making power from the day-to-day operations at all of the USFA.
Hey, Grandmaster. Grandmaster, in terms of the membership drive, as you was talking, we had several people call in, and I guess they tuned back out. So right now we had you were telling me about 10, 15 people call in. They stayed and they hung up. But that's okay because I'm going to send you an email and probably call you and just kind of advise you on a Facebook plan, because keep in mind, you had like Egypt, you had a lot of countries overseas, use Facebook to, basically change the entire political reality by just using Facebook. Right. So surely you could use. So surely we could use Facebook to get 200 members. So I will. I'll talk to you more about that off the air, about how you go about doing that and be more strategic with Facebook doing that. The other thing that I have. No problem, sir. The other thing that I have is that. One of the things that I was interested in doing with especially from my point of view, when we do these interviews, was reaching out a lot of times to people who might have felt like they've been isolated or there's been, for whatever reason, they have like a cloud over them, and they might have felt like they're the black sheep, whatever the case may be. And so, as an example, Grandmaster Yehuda Shem, Yehuda, you might have heard him a few times on the show. And the thing with him is that what gravitated me to him was how the fact that, first of all, he has knowledge. Obviously he has knowledge. Obviously, he's been on the mat. He's not a seminar grandmaster. Obviously, he's been busted up and he paid his due like anybody else. But there still was a history with him, and I wanted to allow him to have the opportunity, as well as the co-host Shihan and Saladini, to give him the opportunity to have a redemption, to have some kind of atonement. And to be quite frank, after the second interview, Professor Rahman called me. I think it was on Monday, and he told me that Grandmaster Yehuda said that he would like to have a unity class, and he would like to reach out and have reconciliation with the Grandmasters. And I told them, because I'm a very loyal person, if I say it, I mean it, and my word is my bond. So I'm saying on air that Grandmaster Shem basically said, I'm telling you that is it possible that he can have some kind of reconciliation starting with you, and then from there, I still want to reach out to these other Grandmasters and bring all of you guys together, including, although I haven't been successful, but I'm still not going to stop, including Soke Littlejohn. And what is your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on that is this here. People who want to come forward in sincerity from the heart and in integrity. See, let me say this right first. One thing that I know about, being with Doc for all of this time, I've seen Doc and suck people back into the fold. Who Doc said, man, I would never let him back. That person is this and that person is that, and I will do this and I will do that. I mean, Doc was adamant. But when that person comes in sincerity, and say to Doc, look, I messed up. I'm sorry. Look, I really want to come back. I really want to go home. Doc will forgive him and let him come back. So why can't we do the same thing? I mean, now this is I'm speaking my personal opinion, and so I feel, why can't we do the same thing? So I feel, for instance, if the brother wants to reconciliate, he wants to talk, he's reaching out, I would love to talk with him. I don't have a problem with that. And I have constantly put it out there concerning more than one time, Sokular John and Grandmaster Anthony. Man, I personally spoke to them brothers. I invited them to become part of the family. I just think that at the time there was just so much misunderstanding going on, and a lot of people thinking that we were behind sending all these letters, and and we was behind trying to keep people out, and that just wasn't the truth. It was a misunderstanding and a lot of misinformation. And the reason, we get a lot of attention, a lot of flack, so we must be doing something right, because it's after all of this time since Doc passed, nothing really sprung up, nothing really done, nothing that was worthwhile. We decided to go with Doc's original organization and get it back on the map, and then all the hoopla started, and all the negativity started coming out, So I personally would love to talk to the brother. I don't have a problem with that, not at all. And that's what, that can be the beginning of the reconciliation, you see. And I know right now, if there's some people listening, they probably think I'm out of my mind and think I'm crazy. But you know something? I know Doc, and I know what Doc would have done. That's me. And I know things that Doc said, but I also know Doc the man, the person, the human being. And I know what Doc would do because I witnessed it time and time again. So I know the man's heart. But a person has to be sincere, and it really got to mean it from now. They can't get pissed off and then start saying a whole bunch of negative stuff and then say, oh, well, I'm sorry. If you were sincere and you come from the heart from the beginning, then there's no reason for you to backtrack and go back into that mode. You just have to understand, there's a lot of people out there have to understand that, a lot of people is taking what Doc said to the grave, and they don't want to budge on it, But, so you're going to have the resistance, but eventually you can even, you can wear this resistance down, and it has to start somewhere. So if the brother want to talk to me, he can talk to me. We can start right there. You know, and I'll take the flack for it. You know, I took flack for reaching out to Soki and Lil John. I took flack for reaching out to Grandmaster Anthony. I'll take flack for talking to the brother Shim. You know, I don't have a problem with that. You know, people don't like what I'm doing, all they got to do is vote me out of office, and I'm done. You know. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, Grandmaster, on that same accord here, because you do have a rapport with Soki and the entire VSK community over there. Speaking directly to them, because I know they've been personally hurt from some of the people I've spoken to, both members of the VSK family and members and other people who are not members of the VSK family, but feel some type of alliance to Soki. If you can speak directly to the VSK family as a whole, because they, like I said, they have taken offense to some things that are going on. Some of them are some valid and some not valid, because, like I said, like you said, the USFA had nothing to do with some of the legal proceedings and some of the things that are going on with in this current situation. I want to let those people know there's nothing wrong with being a member of the USFA and remaining a member of VSK or whatever else. If you could explain to them, because I understand that you put it out there that people said that you said you can be a member, but let people that are happy with their group and really don't want to leave their group, let our listeners know that they can also become a member of the USFA and remain a loyal member to their own group. I mean, we're not a completely, we're all family is what I'm trying to say. If you could explain that to our listeners, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, brother, thank you. Not a problem. And it is true. We're not asking nor encouraging no one to leave your present organization. Stay where you're happy at. Stay with your people. But that will not stop you from becoming a part of the USFA. See, Doc always say that whatever you got, Sanukas can enhance it. And so we come together as a family to share what we got to enhance each other. So, I mean, it's just like me. I have my own organization, and yet I'm the president of Sanukas. I'm the president of the USFA. You see, but I don't feel that, I got to walk away from what I'm doing, just to do this. And that's not true. I still do what I do. So we don't want nobody to feel that, you got to give up what you're doing. If it's, whether it is, Mashaba, whether it's DSK, whether it's Convention Rule, it doesn't matter what it is. Keep doing what you're doing. We want to come together as family for the sake of Dr. Moses Powell and spread his legacy. And whatever you got, you have the opportunity to come and share your knowledge with all of the family. That's what we all do. It's just like sitting out having a meal, you got potatoes and you got yams, you got corn, you got collard greens, you got chicken, you got fish, so you got all kinds of different flavors. You want to make up that meal. So, and it's unfortunate, and I really feel, really unhappy with the fact that the wrong understanding went out to my brothers, to my family at VSK and Commission Room. And it's, the wrong information, the wrong misunderstanding went out. We never tried to keep them away, but always encouraged. Brother Saifullah spoke to them and also encouraged it. Brother Soki Hassan Khalid spoke to them and encouraged them. So we try to let them know that whatever's going on with legal proceedings, don't put us in that box. They ain't got nothing to do with us. We're about coming together as family, and it's really simple. It's really not that complicated. Keep doing what you're doing. Become part of USFA. Share love for Doc. Let's keep Doc's name and legacy alive. And you can do that right within what you're doing as you're doing right now. Whatever you're doing, you got Doc involved anyway. You got Sanukas involved anyway in some way or another, because that's where we all come from. So you're not changing anything. You're just coming home to support the household. That's it. And the thing about it, eventually, any member, every single member that's a part of the USFA will have the same voting rights to be able to actually run for any alternate position. So it ain't like anybody being locked out. Nobody's being locked out. I had always considered, John, my brother, because like I said before, in the early days, when he used to come up with Doc, he stayed in my house. He slept in my bed. He sat in each other to the day. I've never had any issues of static with Grandmaster Anthony. That's where that's when worlds collide. You know? And I never had any issues with any of them. He came to my seminar in Los Angeles, California when Doc was there. You know? He was at my school, in my house, in my home, at my dojo. Never had any issues. So I have nothing against them brothers but love. I want them to come home. I want them to come to the USFA. And I don't want nobody to feel that they should not be able to come. Everybody should be able to feel like that they can come because you can. Whether you BSK, whether you Mushaba, whether you Kumite Ru, whether you is Karate Kung Fu, it don't matter. The USFA is there for you. So let's kill that whole thing about we want to keep people out. Whatever's going on legally, you got an issue, you go talk with the estate and a lawyer. Because if I was to do something and the state felt that was right, I got to answer to the lawyers too. I'm not exempt. You know, all this, I know it looks harsh and it looks cold, but man, they're trying to protect their family. They're trying to get something out of what Doc left behind for everybody. And if people would just look at it and say, well, you know what? I think that Doc Thurman, you deserve something, so I don't have a problem with, with trying to give some of what I make off of Doc's name.
Well, that being said, Grandmasters, look at some of the other Grandmasters of Jiu-Jitsu. Do you think that Deepa Squale and Yoshitsune, that they're having this problem? That after the patriarch of the family passed away, the federation kept going, and it kept the memory of their father and their father's teachers going. Also, the Wally J and the Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu. Do you not think that the family of Wally J was taken care of by Wally J and the association that he's running and by his senior students? So, taking care of Doc's family, we're not talking about we supporting his family. We're saying that some of what Doc left in his legacy should go to his family. They're the natural, the heirs of it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
No other master. All the other masters have this thing set up already. Listen, I traveled all over the world, mainly in Japan and Okinawa, and I'm telling you, the Grandmaster's family is taken care of by the senior students. It's not it's automatically. It's automatic. It's not even spoken of. It's just taken care of.
It's just taken care of. It's a common thing that you don't give no thought. It's just normal and natural to go that way and to make that happen. We don't want to be the only ones, who have a great master that passed, and we want to be the ones sitting out like a sore thumb, bickering and fighting, and not taking care, and not trying to do what we can to make sure that their family is okay, because they do own the legacy.
Absolutely, Grandmaster. I want to also add, if I could, is that listen, I'm talking to the senior people here. We're talking about first generation, as far as that first generation, the second generation, when Doc started this thing, 50s and 60s and 70s, mid and early 70s, not the 80s and 90s, but that generation when Doc started this thing. Listen, if they would have dealt with the first generation, would have set the right example. And then these subsequent generations to follow would have followed. If they would have took care of their teacher, CMG is something that all the students of Dr. Powell brought up on them. If you were taking care of your teacher like you're supposed to, this wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
And all students of Moses Powell, you wouldn't be getting cease and desist letters if you were taking care of your teacher and his family like you were supposed to. Like every other Grandmaster students, they take care of them. Why do we have an exception in Sanukas? Why do we have an exception in Sanukas? So you're absolutely right. It's something you do on yourself by not doing what your teacher said and not caring about your teacher when you left the dojo. And I'm speaking specifically to those first, second, third generation students of Moses Powell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh. And I agree 100% with you, brother. We don't want to be the sore thumb sticking out. We don't want to be the ones who don't take care of their teacher or their teacher's family. We don't want to be the ghetto people, the unprofessional people, I mean, it's already hard enough, and again, unfortunately, I have to keep bringing it up because there's such a truth to it. It's already hard enough with us as black men, as black people, to get that proper level of respect. We have to be the ones to stand up and show that we deserve it just like anybody else. Doc don't deserve anything less than Wally J, than Yeshiva, than Oyama, than Nishiyama, than any of. He deserves no less than that. We don't want him to fade away, to where that he was nothing. What he gave us was too valuable, man. I mean, it's too valuable. And it's groundbreaking. It is evolving the martial art. If people need to understand that this is just not no little, touch and go technique, man. This is something that has a life and is constantly evolving. As the martial art is evolved, it evolves. See, and that's the way Doc set it up. See, some people become stagnant because they choose not to evolve. They choose to stay still, hold on to this, hold on to that, and never go nowhere. But that ain't the way Doc taught it. It ain't the way he taught me. It was all about evolving and moving forward and constantly bettering yourself, constantly enhancing what you got. And Sanook is with or without you. It's going to continually evolve because you can't stay stagnant. So that's the point. Even the book that I wrote, and to speak about that, the book I wrote called Dr. Moses Powell, Beyond a Legend.
And Grandmaster, I'm sorry, before you go there, Shabazz, if you can, because I'm not in front of the computer, if you can give out the number, because I'm glad you transferred, you went right there, Grandmaster, because that's exactly what I wanted you to talk about, some of the things that are in the book and some of the things we can pull from. Before we get into that, could you make sure you give out that number to the people that may not be listening on the phone, but maybe are internet listeners, or maybe, give them out the phone call and let them know if anybody wants a question or ask Grandmaster a question, to call that number, please. If you can just set that number right on air, and then we can let Grandmaster move into his book and some of the important stories that people don't speak of.
Sure, the number and the email. The number that I can be reached at is 818.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The number the call-in number for the show, Shabazz should have it, sir.
Oh, got you. Oh, beautiful. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone listening on that right now, you call
now 619-996-1612.
So just hit number 1, and I will bring you into our conversation.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Say that one more time, Shabazz. That was muffled.
Yes, 619-996-1602. 619-996-1602.
Good. Thank you very much. Grandmaster, I want you to move right into this book and some of the stories. I don't want you to give the book away for free on air by telling us everything in the book, but give us some teasers and things like that, and let people know some of these personal things that happen between you and Doc that no one else knows except you two that are in this book.
Okay. The reason why this book came about is because when Doc was living with me in Vermont, we talked every single day. We talked. And he had so much stuff that he had to share. And one thing he told me the problem, he said, listen, I want you to promise me something. He said, when you write my book, I want you to tell the truth. I don't want you to sugarcoat it. I don't want you to make me out anything that I'm not. He said, I'm not ashamed of who I am. You write the truth and you tell it like it is. And so that respect, that's the reason why I call it Beyond the Legend, because he wanted people to know who he was beyond the great Moses Powell. He wanted people to know that. And it's my story. It was my story to tell, because we're the ones who talked about it. We're the ones who shared this time with each other. So I told my story, and my relationship with Doc is how the whole story came about. When we first come together, how the various things that we went through. In a lot of Doc's teachings and philosophy, you can find a lot of pearls of wisdom throughout the book. Some of the things, like, for instance, how is it that Doc actually ended up in Vermont in the first place? What was the circumstances that led up to him being with me in Vermont? We talk about that completely and fully in the book, as well as what transpired, why he was in Vermont. And the things that people don't know is that, like I said before, when Doc came to me, Doc's life was almost gone, man. His life was almost out. And not just because I'm saying that, he even mentioned the fact. He said, I just lost my fight to do this anymore. Because my students, blah, 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 blah. But just read the book. Everything is in there. Then there's those stories about when I used to run the streets with Doc, when I was met the different, gangsters like, Buffy Johnson and all those cats, and it was just so interesting to interaction with Doc, and how all these things would take place with these people. I had the privilege to run the streets in New York with this guy. And, the one thing that I always talk about is the time when he asked me, he said, "You sure you want to run with me?" I said, "Yes, I don't want to be there. I want to watch your back. I want to make sure you're all right. And here I want to make sure you're all right. Not to run the streets long before I came around. But anyway, as that loyal student, I'm concerned about my teacher. And I just want to be sure that I'm there for him in any way I can." So he said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sure." I said, "Okay." He said, He said, "Now let me tell you something. If you say you go run with me, you go run. And I don't want to hear no complaints out of you. I'm just strong word. Oh, yeah, Doc, you ain't nothing out of me. I'm ready." Man, I tell you, boy, I don't know what I was saying. And there was this one incident where we went to this guy's house, and that's the first time I seen, I think it was $1 million in cash, that we was at this guy's house, and Doc said, go in and get your briefcase, and show it to him. And so he went and brought the briefcase out, opened it up. I'm like, holy cow. So here I'm seeing all this cash money. First time I've seen that much money in my life, especially in cash, So that was really something. But we stayed there for a really long time, and there's a lot was going on. So I started getting sleepy, and then I was starting to nod. So Doc would make me stand up. He said, "Stand up." He said, "I told you can't go to sleep. You got to hang with me." He said, "You said you want to do this, you go do this." So he made me stand up, make me walk around. I'm almost nodding while I'm standing. So he made me start doing push-ups. He made me start doing jumping jacks. He made me start doing form. He did everything in the book to make sure I don't go to sleep. Man, it was hell, I'm telling you. Man, I wanted some sleep so bad I didn't know what to do with myself. I was ready to die just to go to sleep. It was really something, man. But he just made me. But see, all the time Doc was training me, only in a way that Doc can do. So, so we stayed up for 3 days straight. And then we went to this place. And when Doc knocked on his door, we came in, there's a bunch of mattresses and mats on the floor, a bunch of people. So I'm like, okay, this is a place where people come and crash and then keep moving, something like that, because of the way it was set up. So he said, we could get a little bit of sleep. And mine, that was music to my ears. So Doc and I lay down, and it seemed like I just shut my eyes. Doc said, "Get up." I'm like, "Get up." Like I'll take it to myself. I ain't said it to him now. I'll take it to myself. "Get up, chill. I just went to sleep." He said, "Get up. We got to go." So we got up, and I headed to the door. He said, No, not that way, this way. We went down the fire escape. He said, "We going this way." And I'm like, damn, what the hell is going on? So we go down the fire escape, get down, walk down about a block. Next thing you know, we hear all this automatic gunfire, and you can see the muzzle flashes coming out, through the window and stuff. And I'm like, how the hell did Doc know to get up and get out of there and take the fire escape before whoever was came and did what they did? See, Doc was so deep, man, and so in tune. This guy, he just knew stuff. So I understand what he means about Sanuka's eye to eye, about looking into a person's soul, about being able to read people. But you also read energy. You read vibrations that's in the atmosphere. And you can tell when there's disturbance in the force. See, Doc had it deep like that. And he knew there was disturbance. As tired as he was after being up 3 days, he woke up out of sleep, woke me up, and got us out of there just enough time not to be a part of whatever was taking place in all that gunfire. It was an amazing. That's just one of the many things that that I've experienced with Doc, man. It was a heck of a learning trip, And then I talk about when we was in Panama. We was on stage doing an exhibition. Man, listen, it was my turn to come out, right? And just as it was my turn to come out, this guy, the audience guy, started screaming out, "Look at that fat man on stage trying to do karate." And then I see the look on Doc's face change. I said, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble."
Grandmaster, let me pause you 1 second. We got a caller coming in. It's 4583. I want to bring you in right now. Greetings, 4583.
Hi. This is Professor Rockman.
How you doing, sir? How you doing?
Alhamdulillah. I called in because I want to correct something you said when you asked him a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we want to know is that we wanted, me, myself, and Grandmaster Shem, wanted a unity workout class among the grandmasters and the professors. And so since you was on the air, we said, well, we start with you. Can we organize that way? We have a class just among the grandmaster professors on Snooker's Rule.
Got you. Okay. The way that would happen, we could talk more, off the air on this, and I'm willing to talk to you and Professor Rockman. Definitely not a problem. We can talk, but this is
you're treating me as Professor Rockman.
Yes, I know. I'll say I can talk to you brothers another time off the air so we can get more into it. But the way that it would have to happen is that I would have to bring this to the board of directors. I gotta follow protocol. And once I can do that,
no problem. We just said that. We just saying that. We just saying after 6 years, the only way that this intellectual creation is really going to be perpetuated if it starts with the people on the master level. So if we on the master level can't we come together on the system, then how you think anybody else do? So we said, why not have a unity class among the grandmasters and the professors?
Well, that's an excellent idea, believe me. It's a great idea. We always want all that, and that's what we should have, all the grandmasters and teachers coming together to share in unity. Believe me, it's an excellent idea, and I love the idea. And I would like to see it happen. I would like to see it happen. So I would definitely love to talk to you and Professor Shim, like I say, all here, and then I would need...
Okay, you want me to give you my phone number, Grandmaster?
Yes, sir, and I'm going to write it down right now as you give it to me.
Okay, Professor Rockman.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying off the air. I'll call you back. I'll call you off the air, and I give you all this information, and then you guys can talk off the air.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your phone call, Professor.
Yep. Okay. Beautiful.
Go ahead, continue, Grandmaster.
It's all about family, man. It's, everybody. I mean, this is time for everybody to just come together, man, and drop all the crap, and let's come together and be family, and let's share, and let's make Doc happy. With the stuff that's going on, I'm sure Doc's doing his rollouts and your kings in the grave, man, because this is not what he wanted. So let's do it the way he wanted it done, Definitely. So, yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, if another call comes in, please stop me and interrupt me. So,
we'll do, Grandmaster.
Yes, sir.
We will do.
So this guy says this thing about the fat man and whatnot. So Doc had this look in his eyes, and his eyes changed. So I knew I was in trouble. Because whoever come up next, Doc was going to really put it to him and show this guy what a fat man can do. And sure enough, when he called me up, he said, I'm about to show you what this fat man can do. I said, oh, no. And of course, he just mopped the stage up with me and threw me around like I was a rag doll, man. It was just so crazy. And so all the time in my mind, I'm saying, I'm going to see this person. I'm going to get this person, So it was me and it was Robert Crawford, Sugar, so both of us, because he came after me. So we said, man, we're going to get this guy. So when we was done and we sat down on the side, we started to exit to go to the audience, and Doc looked at us, and he said, where y'all going? And he just looked, and we went and sat back down, so we knew what that meant. And pretty much he said, leave it alone, because it ain't worth doing that. But, that's just like little things that happen. And then I remember doing a demonstration for Black Family Day in New York. Man, Doc called me up, and he was working with me. I threw a punch. And when I woke up, I was sitting on the side in a kneeling position. So by the time I threw the punch, so I actually sat down on the side, I don't know what happened in between. I was completely blacked out. Doc had knocked me out and brought me back. And before I got to my right mind and really knew where I was at, I was sitting on the sidelines in a kneeling position. I was never going to hit that day. Man, Doc had some stuff with him. So, there's a lot of wonderful stuff, and then there's a lot of hospital stuff, where Doc was speaking his mind. He was talking about his hurt, the things that he was going through with his students, it's just so much that he had to share, that he had to unload, and so there's a lot of stuff in the book, and I put it all in there, and I was just straight with it, I kept it raw like he asked me to. I even talked about the situation with him and I, that had took place, and I put it all out there. That's the way it happened, because it's about being truthful and putting it out there, and so that's what I did. So I wasn't trying to hide or sugarcoat anything, because there was one thing, and I need to make sure that I clear this up because it came up several times. He hasn't said that I threatened to kill Dr. Moses Powell. That had been out several times. People had said that. In fact, somebody even told Doc's daughter that when they was in the film, he said, he threatened to kill your father. Let me set the record straight on that. Let's put this on the map. And it's real clear, because I didn't hide anything. Because me and Doc had a very personal, loving relationship, but when that's a personal thing. This is the story. I got a phone call. I was getting phone calls from people. When Doc got pissed off with me about something, when Doc gets pissed off, he talks a lot of stuff. He say a lot of things. You always have those people who take what he say and they run with it like fools and not have enough sense to pay attention and think for themselves. I call them a bunch of mindless people. So I started getting phone calls. When I come home, my message machine got phone calls talking about how people going to come and kill me, and they going to come and get me, and I better not come out my house, and I better go into hiding, and they going to kill me, and all this kind of stuff. So I call while I'm home. I pick up the phone. Nobody say nothing. They hang up. But whenever I let the answer machine pick up, they start leaving messages, but they never identify themselves. They never talk about who they were. You know what I mean? You got a team coming out of Jersey, they gonna take you out. You got a hit team coming out of Chicago, they gonna take you out. They down on the corner now. And if you want the people with you to live, you better send them. All this crazy stuff, right? So I called Kyle. I said, Doc. I said, man, I'm getting all these messages, man, about this and that and this and that and this and that. I said, what's going on? He said, so what if I did? I said, Doc, come on, man. I said, listen, you train me, you know how I am. You know that if them people can't, I'm sending everybody back in a body bag, and then I'm coming to Vermont and see you. That's what I said. That was my word. Doc. Now, it could be interpreted all kind of ways, but Doc and I had to understand that we knew each other's language. So someone can easily misinterpret that as I'm saying whatever they think that I'm saying. But that was my word. I said, I'm going to come over and see you. That's what I said to him. And he laughed, and he said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I said, Doc, why do you tell people this thing? He said, listen, that's their problem. If they want to take it and run with it, that's their problem. I said, but Doc, you got such an influence over people. When you say stuff, they take it to heart, man. You just can't say stuff like that and leave it, And, he said, well, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I'll get it straight. And then the phone call stopped. I got no more phone calls after Doc said that he'd take care of it. Obviously, he knew who the people were that were leaving a threat. And so I never said the word, I'm going to kill you, or I threaten you. I never said those things. That never came out of my mouth. Never came out of my mouth. And what Doc respected about it, he said, look, I didn't teach you to be nobody party. I didn't teach you to be nobody bitch. I didn't raise you like that. You stand up to any man. If they will threaten your life, you stand up to any man, even if it's me. That's what he said to me. All my training when I'm coming out, even if it's me, don't let nobody hurt you. And so when the situation came out, and I said what I said about sending everybody back in a body bag, and then I'm going to come to Vermont and see you, Doc knew what I was talking about. Doc was living in my house with my parents and my son at the time. So I know what was going on, so how could that be that serious? He calling my mom and dad, living in my house, which I'm still paying for and taking care of. How do people say that me and Doc had this thing so that we was going to try and kill each other? That's just stupid. It don't make any sense. But people take stuff and they run with it and they don't get the facts straight. Me and Doc never had nothing but love for each other. Always. Even when we was upset with each other, we had nothing but love for each other because we could talk to each other. We can get mad and the next minute we talking. That's the way it was. And I talk about all this stuff in my book. I laid it out there just like Doc asked me to do. That's why I laid it out there. I'm not trying to hide nothing. I'm not trying to sugarcoat nothing or make me look good. You know, I got people right now that on the telephone, they said to me, I hate you for what you did to Doc. I said, what did I do to Doc? Well, you left him in Vermont by himself. I said, no, Doc was in Vermont with my mother, my father, my son. Then he was joined by his daughter, and also Gina Barnett was there also at the same time. I said, plus I left one of my other students there to make sure that Doc is looked after, that he get anywhere he needs to go. Plus, on top of that, when I left Vermont to go to Los Angeles, I said to Doc, listen, I'm going out there. There's some opportunities that I want to look at that could be good for us, and I want to get this thing set up. You know, they just bring you out to live in California. Say, hey, go do what you got to do. You know, he said, I'll be here. He said, when you're ready for me, let me know. You know, so people don't know all the facts. They don't know all the details. You know, they hear bits and pieces, and they run with it instead of trying to really find out what's going on.
Hey, Grandmaster, we got two callers calling in. We got 9590 and we got 5349. Do you want to continue, or do you want me to bring one of the callers in?
No, sir. Let's go for it.
All right, I'm gonna now bring in 9590. Let me see who this is. 9590.
Hi, Freddie. It's Arlette. Fuquan. Sorry.
How you doing, Arlette? How you doing?
I can't complain. How are you?
Hey, I'm so happy you called into the show. You got my sensei, Salahadin, and you got Grandmaster Anaconda. Grandmaster, let me let Arlette tell you who she is and what you know about Dr. Moses Powell. I'm so glad you called in.
Okay, so Dr. Moses Powell is like a uncle to me. He's a friend of my father's for a long time from San Lucas Rule. We did study under him, and he's a close friend of the family. His first wife, Betty, and his children, Cheryl and Tina. We go back that far.
Okay, great.
San Lucas Rule on Atlantic Avenue.
Yes. Beautiful. Oh, so you old school, sister. Okay.
Oh, yeah, from the beginning. Him and my father grew up together in Brooklyn, New York. Best of friends. I wish my father's praying at this moment, but if he was not praying at this moment, I would have him on the phone as well.
Yes, sir. Well, my pleasure to meet your acquaintance for sure.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Good. Same here.
Yeah.
Good to meet
you. Hey, and all that. You know, one thing, we're doing a membership drive, and we're trying to get up about 200 members to join the USFA, and I'm going to talk to the Grandmaster how we're going to structure this on Facebook. And, I definitely want you to let your father know, and there's a couple other, a lot of other people we want to bring into this membership drive.
So tell me, the Grandmaster is, when did you study with my uncle?
I started.
How long have you been studying with him?
Since I was 10 years old. I am now 57 years old, 56 years old. I forget, 57, one of them. Anyway, I started with him. I started when I was 10 years old. And I was a black belt, junior black belt in Kimbo Karate at the time when he first came to Hartford, Connecticut. And that's when I started studying with him. Yeah, so it's been 40-some-odd years. He's been my teacher. And we came
Have you ever visited the school in Brooklyn on Atlantic Avenue?
I used to train on 554 Atlantic Avenue for a lot of years. I trained with him in private. Once I became first dan, I started going to Atlantic Avenue, and that was around 74, I believe it was, 1774. I was 18
early
years
70s.
old. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Grandmaster's the real deal. He's the president.
I'm not debating that. I just want to know, like, from what era and how long.
Exactly.
I'm not debating. I can't debate on all of those things because, I was a kid at the time, and I grew up and, You know, Sensei went and did his thing in Connecticut, and then he went to Florida, and we lost contact, and then, you know, so it was that. But from my younger days, I'm not 56, but I'm almost 50. So in my younger days, you know, Sensei was a part of my life. He came to my house, we broke bread, and then his children and myself played together. You know, it was more family. I did study under him, and I made it up to brown belt. I was one of the baddest little jiu-jitsu little girls because I had a fighting spirit. So, you know, he appreciated that with the one finger rollout and all of those things. So you know, I'm not debating if anybody knew him or anything. I just wanted to know the time, you know. Everybody speaking so well of him. And so passionate.
Hey, and all that, before I move on to the next caller, one thing I want to know, what is your most profound memory of Dr. Powell?
Oh, that my profound memory was that he was no joke, and he was sincere. He loved his craft, and he was sincere. He just wasn't. He was a gentle giant, and he was knowledgeable about what he knew, and he wanted to share it with people, but he just didn't want anybody to play with him. You know, and he didn't want the ill-gotten games and the talking. You know, he just wanted you to be sincere and love the art of jiu-jitsu and be a good person, but just don't mess with him. And he was light on his feet, and and you could get almost anything from him if he liked you. So those are like, you know, my dealings with him were more intimate on a family level than in that kind of sense. My dad and him was very, very close, you know, so my dealings with him, you know. And he's always in our heart and soul and family, you know. He's family. He was family.
That's right.
So those are my profound moments.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
I was when we had our promotions, and I remember stepping up, and it was my turn, and he used to tell me, "Kill him. Just go get him, girl. Just go get him." And I was like, all right, you know, it's like, all right, he said, this one here is no joke. So, you know, I have very fond memories of Sensei. Master. But that's what we called him lovingly. We just called him Sensei. You know.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know what, Fukan? I'm kind of glad that you're doing this. I remember when I met you, and I told you that I was familiar with Master Moses Powell, and you lit up. This was, I mean, to see you like 6, 7, 8 years later doing this is amazing. You know, I mean, you've always been sincere to me, and I see you when you talked about Moses Powell, you were passionate yourself. So you're something else.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I'm proud of you.
Hey, Grandmaster, she know me from Brooklyn. She know me from before I moved to Atlanta. She knew me before, you know. So that was like 12 years ago. That was a long time ago.
Wow.
That was a long time ago. Yeah, that's right. Long time.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'll let you know. I don't want to do no more push-ups, you know. So I got to follow protocol. So I got to move on to the next caller, sister. I love you.
Okay, I love you too. Talk to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care, sister. Bye-bye. All right, Grandmaster?
Yes, sir. Next caller. Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right, yeah, okay. Our next call is 3451. All right, let's see who this is. 3451? You're on the air, 3451.
State your name and say where you're calling from.
Hello?
Oh. Hello?
Yes, hello. Who's this? 3451. All right. This person, I don't know. All right, Grandmaster, you can continue.
You know, it's funny. I remember, but Doc has some talking skills too. I mean, I seen him talking kind of right out of his freaking track pants. I mean, I had a guy in the dojo, in my dojo in California, and Doc was sitting there. So this guy come in with these nice track pants he had on, you know? And,
yes.
and I introduced him to my teacher, and he was, all amazed, because all my students knew who Dr. Powell was. That's the first thing that they learned, So he had the chance to come and actually see Doc there. So he sat down, they were talking for a while, and this guy used to be the head chef at the House of Blues here in Los Angeles. And his name is Ed. I'll never forget it. And so Doc kept saying, so they were talking to Doc. He said, the track pants is nice. Oh, he said, yeah, thank you. So they talking again. Doc stopped again. He said, man, I really like them track pants a lot. So he said, oh, yeah, thank you. So then, they talk again. So Doc said again, he said, man, I sure like to have them pants, And finally, it's like the light went on. He said, oh, you want my pants? And he took them off on the spot and guess he took Doc. It's like, I was like, man, Doc, how you going to talk this man out of pants like that? You know what I'm saying? But Doc had some skills, man. I mean, when he wanted something, he was relentless. So that was just one of those funny things, that I've seen Doc do. And I've seen him do it more than one time. It could be a pants, it could be a shirt, it could be a jacket, a hat. It didn't matter.
Hey, Grandmaster, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, finish what you thought. He was in Vermont. Go ahead and finish your thought, then I ask.
I was going to say, when he was in Vermont, whenever I asked something he wanted, all he would do was just look at me. And that's it. He ain't even got to ask. It was like, this is mine, so you might as well just give it up. So it was cool, though, man. It was cool. Yeah, bro, go ahead.
Hey, Grandmaster Anaconda, being one of Doc's earlier students, we're talking about 60s here. Tell us about Doc's training. We know how Doc trained others, but have you ever seen Doc, or what stories would you have about Doc, the way he trained himself, when you saw him, whether he was in the corner of a dojo or when he was going through a particular drill, or just when he trained himself? Tell us a little bit about that, our listeners that are not familiar, because believe it or not, a lot of people have not seen Doc train. We've seen Doc teach. But,
that's right.
But tell us about the stories about how Doc trained when he was training himself, whether that was after the dojo, before you guys got there, or when whether he was running or doing squats, or weightlifting, whatever he did. Tell listeners about those stories if you can recall any.
I will tell you a couple of things. There's a lot that I do recall. It was actually a blessing to not only see him train, but then when he would, call me in to actually join him in his training, I mean, I thought it was, quite a blessing to do that. What happened was, I asked Doc a question one day. I said, how did you get your fingers so hard? I've seen him break boards with his fingertips, And I've seen him, just hold boards with one hand and just take his shoe toe and just, it just crackle, and, just pop them and they fly across the room. I said, man, how do you get your fingers and your hands so hard? And so I asked him several times before he finally told me. He said, I'm going to tell you a secret. He said, I'm going to tell you how my fingers got to be so hard. I said, and my hands got to be so tough. I said, okay. So he said, give me a brick and a bunch of newspapers. I said, okay. So I go out and I get a brick and I get a bunch of newspapers. And I said, what the hell has that got to do with his hands being hard? I said, well, maybe he go break a brick to show me how hard his hands is as far as the newspaper. I don't know what he gonna do with those. So he was sitting out in his armchair that had two arms on him. So he set the brick on one armchair. And he had the newspapers in a pile next door. So he took one hand where he had the brick and the shoe, so he would just sit there while he watched the TV and just hit the brick. Just keep hitting it. The other hand, he would take the newspaper, it would be spread over, he would take one sheet at a time. While hitting the brick, he would ball the newspaper up with his, with the other hand with his fingers. So he get it as small as he possibly can get it. He threw it away, and he threw another one. And he kept doing it until the whole newspaper was gone. Then he switched hands. And then he started hitting the other hand with the brick. He takes the other hand and starts piling up newspapers. And he threw them away, do it as small as he can. And he said, this is how I got my fingers and my hands so tough. So that was one of the secrets that he used for his own training. Yeah, it was, and I was like, so, I went and I grabbed a newspaper and I'm trying to ball it up, man, and that thing was more difficult than I ever imagined it to be. Because the fingers, man, would get cramps and they would get tired and they'd cramp up on you and they'd hurt and it was crazy. And so after a while, I got, of working with it, it got to be easier and easier and I could make a smaller and smaller ball of newspaper, And so, so I would stop and I'd sit there in front of people and I'd bang the bricks and I'd ball up newspapers and, so I wanted to get my hands like his. They never got as strong as his. I mean, the doctor stand up on one finger and do that one finger roll out. I mean, he really was on that finger. It wasn't no joke. He didn't just go and just, and just fly over. He was straight up in the air with his feet up, so that was real. So so that's how our fingers got. So that was some of the things he did. Then he would go through different breathing exercises. A lot of dynamic citron and a lot of stuff where he would go and really go deep from a diaphragm, because he had this thing he would do where he would inhale and then he'd let out, he'd go, but and then you see this gut sinking, rise and sink, and everything coming from the diaphragm, and so he did a lot of those type of things, and then he would stand there, and he would just stand there and just just like stand, like almost at a semi-attention with his spread about 40, his feet about 45 degrees apart. He would stand there with his hands to his side. And you stand there, and he just look straight. You don't move, you just look, and look. Then his eyes change. Then he raises his hands up in front of him, and he stand there for a while. And then each time something happened to his pupils, and then he would change position. And then he started to talk. What you doing? He said, I'm meditating. I said, what you meditating on? Not like that. She said, right now, I'm in a mode where I'm creating. I'm working on my art. I'm practicing my skills. Yeah, I said, but you're not doing any movement. I don't see you doing any blocks, the strikes, the punches. He said, man, I've been there and done that. He said, this is the way I create now. He said, I stand here and then I tune in to the spiritual world, and then I connect with God, and then God sees me. He said, this is how I get what I get. So I was like, man. So it's just, and then there's other things, he would do certain exercises, that Doc would do. And then there was certain movement that Doc would also do. So it's just a lot of, very different things, but watching him train, man, was just absolutely captivating. Because it's almost like he was training, but he wasn't training. So when we train, we getting down and we sweating and we dripping sweat and we, falling out and passing out and breaking wind and Doc just hardly doing nothing. But yet, this man was deeply training for the spiritual side of things. And the physical movement he did do some physical movement, but it wasn't a whole lot. But the things he did was just, was just awesome. Yeah,
hey, Grandmaster.
Yes, sir.
Grandmaster, I'm going to take another call. Let me let them come. All right, let me see. 5349. 5349.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. Can you can talk? You got the. Yes. Grandmaster. Oh, this is my fiance. She's calling. Her name is Samitra. You can talk to the master.
Yes. Greetings.
Hi. I've been listening in to your shows and everything for a while now, and I've been kind of curious. It seems like Dr. Moses Powell, he left like a legacy, and he was just such a legend, but yet it seems like a lot of people that kind of followed him or that he taught, it seems like now they have like a lot of dissension, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of disagreements and that type of thing. Like, what is it that has left this like dissension between those that was followers of Dr. Moses Powell?
That's a good question. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. It's a variety of different things. You have when Doc passed, unfortunately, he did not have everything in order. He didn't have paperwork in order as to what he really wanted. The closest to what Doc wanted, I wrote about it in my book because of the things that we talked about. But he never had anything legally laid out in paperwork. So if he passed on, it's like, okay, boom, this is the paperwork. This is my legacy. This is what I want. So when that happened, a lot of people start jockeying for position. Everybody said, well, I'm going to be in charge. Well, I should be in charge. Well, I should be in charge. Well, I should be in charge. So a whole lot of other problems began to erupt from that, And then, when the USFA, which is our organization, we kept it going, tried to revive it and upgrade it. Then people started to feel, well, I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to be limited to this, or I don't want to have to listen to nobody. I like doing what I do. So there was people who didn't like that, and they thought that they would be limited by being a part where they would not. It actually would help enhance and expand what they're doing. Then the really thing that really got it was when the estate was set up, and the family said, listen, we got to do something to protect my late husband and my father's legacy. People's making money off it hand and foot, and we're getting nothing out of it. So they said, well, we're going to put this whole thing together, get us some attorneys, make it illegal, set up the estate, and then we're going to let people know, okay, if this is what you're doing and you're not sharing it with Doc's family, then you need to cease and desist, or, we can work it out to where you can keep doing what you're doing. We just ask just for a small bit, just to, what people should want to do to help Doc's family out. So this created a whole bunch of problems, among people who really didn't understand, or they took it as a personal attack, on them, or they thought that, that they was being, locked down or not allowed to be themselves, and none of those things are really true. So the whole idea of these interviews is to try to let people know the real truth and just stop listening to hearsay. Yeah, so that's why my door's always open. I love people to question me, ask me questions, because I don't have anything to hide. I want to always put it on the table. I believe in transparency and not being secretive about stuff. I believe in laying it out there so everybody can know the truth. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that explains a lot because, I just recently became aware of the whole Sanucas Rule legacy and all of that stuff. But I thought it was really interesting. But I just noticed that seems like, I guess, when he passed away is when everything just fell apart. Because it seems like you all don't have the same close-knit type of union that you had when he was here. And I was just wondering what that was about. But I think I understand a little bit more now. So.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, we're still working to bring that close-knit unity back because that's the way Doc wanted it, and that's the way that we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, and if I can add on that, Grandmaster, this happens in all martial arts when the founder or the leader of the martial art dies and really doesn't designate anybody. They always have this type of distinction or these types of problems. American Kempo Karate, Aikido broke into 3 or 4 factions. Shorin Ryu, all these systems of martial arts. They always have just different personalities. So you're gonna always have some type of disagreements or just people that take different paths. But we all come from the same teacher.
Right. And the whole thing that we're trying to do is to get the people who want to be a part of this, and let's just make it work.
Yeah. We're taking another caller. Let me see who this is. Let's see. Joker. All right, 781. Hello? Oh, the Joker. How you doing, brother?
Oh, this is the Joker.
Yeah. I didn't recognize the number.
Good. Go ahead and shoot. We got Grandmaster Anaconda on the line.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Grandmaster, pleasure to talk to you. So glad you're here on the stage.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Glad to be here.
For someone who's never met, Dr. Moses Powell, what is it you could say about him? I never had the opportunity to meet him. When I learned about, Sanucas, he had already, moved on. What can you tell me about him?
Dr. Moses Powell, as the sister before me said, he was a gentle giant. Of course, your first impression of him might not be that way because he's just Doc was this huge towering of a man, especially in his younger days where when he walked in a room, you could feel his presence, you could feel the power that he carried. But he was a gentleman. He was, and Doc loved to have fun. He loved to crack jokes. He was serious and he wasn't serious. He always tried to break the ice, with a joke, saying something funny. He would compliment people. He was a real good human being. He really cared about people. He loved his students. He loved what he was teaching. He loved his family. And he was just a genuine, real-life man. And a real good example for all of his students to be able to follow after. So he was somebody who you would have enjoyed being around. You would have enjoyed training from Dr. Moses Powell, and just being in his presence was a blessing. Just let some of that energy just kind of, just seep into your aura. You felt good. And that's the kind of man he was. He was really something else. He was unique. He was special. And every day, I miss his physical presence. I know his spirit is always with me, and I'm grateful for that. But I still miss his physical presence, I still miss being able to, to hug him, to sit down and throw a punch at him, those things was always something special. Yeah, great brother.
Ooh. Wow. Grandmaster, another question. Yeah, that's there's a lot of, instructors out there at the time, a lot of, martial artists out there at the time. What made, the Sanukas and, Dr. Moses Powell, way of self-defense, martial arts, what made him different, and what made him different, than everyone else, like him being like, what's the word, was someone changed, like revolutionized, like somebody just completely changed the way people view the martial arts. And they you got the FBI and the Secret Service wanting them to train this, train people. What was the difference? What was it about?
Man, Dr. Powell, man, he was a trailblazer, and he what was unique about him is that he broke the mold on limitation. He just broke the mold. He just shattered that stuff. He said, I'm not going to be limited. And I'm going to box, I'm going to do goju, I'm going to do karate, I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to make an art for the people. And I'm going to make it a way of life for people so that, they can use Sanuki not only on the mat, but also in life. Because you can take the same teaching and apply it to your life situation if you really understood it. So that made him unique to where he operated without those limitations. And so he always allowed Sanuki to evolve. It went from one to another to another to another constantly. As long as he was alive, he kept evolving. And he set such an energy with Sanuki that it's going to continue to evolve as long as those who continue to practice it allow it to evolve and then evolve along with it. So it's something that's going to constantly go on. So that was a uniqueness about what he did. And his stuff was so real, and it was so, at one time it was really street. It was really something for the person who wanted to get home safe. If you was an FBI agent or a CIA, you wonder what Doc had to offer you, because you know that your chances that went up of surviving in a situation because you got what Doc taught you if you really learned it. Yes, there's people out there who make practice and they feel it's not up to par, they're not up to snuff. So it's not the Sanuki that you really should be seeing. See, some people feel that, because I know Sanukis, I got the best thing out there. No, you know what? It's the person and the practitioner that make it what it's supposed to be. Sanukis can have all the elements, but if you don't put in the work, then you're just like any other martial artist. So that is what was so unique about Sanukis, and you could take that and make it yours. And Doc allowed you the freedom to grow with what you learned. He just teach you, say, hey, come back and show me something. How many teachers tell you that? Oh, no, that's tradition. You cannot do that. I remember I was in a situation where me and somebody else, and this thing went down, and this guy had, hit somebody, but he hit him in a weird way, and he knocked the guy out. So he said, oh, Doc, Did I do it wrong? He said, you knocked him out, didn't you? You know? So, what's wrong about that? You know, if it works, it's good. You know?
If it works, it works. Grandmaster.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Grandmaster, we got 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. So I want you to continue that thought, but I also want you to wrap up with your book and talk about the USFA, and then I'm going to greet everyone out.
Beautiful. That's what I want to do. Is I want to, brother, thank you for your calling and questions, by the way. Appreciate you very much. The USFA, let's get this membership drive going. Let's get the word out to the people. You know, there's a lot of people who have ideas of how to make this work. You know, like Brother Shamar's here, you know, with the Facebook thing. Excellent people who know how to tweet, man. Let's get the tweet on, you know, let's utilize YouTube in a better way. You know, we have a Sanuki's channel. Let's promote that Sanuki's channel. Let's put stuff up there that can really show who Doc is and what he taught, you know. So let's really push this membership drive. Let's get the written material out there. You know, not just my book, but, you know, written material. Let's get stuff out there on Doc. Let's get it posted on YouTube. Let's get it posted on Facebook. You know, and let's let people read about this man's history and his legacy, you know, and everybody who we know that's in the heart. Let's tell them about Dr. Moses Powell. Let's tell them about Sanuki. Let's encourage them to join and tell them, you know, all they can do is help enhance what you're doing. It's not taking nothing away, but it's helping. It's expanding what you're doing. And that's the way we have to approach it to people, you know. So I want some more people to come on the show. I'm putting it out there. Come on the show. Talk about Sanuki. Talk about the membership drive. I'm calling all you masters, grandmasters, and professors. Come on the show, and let's make this membership drive happen. 200 people. I'd like to see it by December 31st, 2011. I'd like to see 200 members. So let's make it happen.
Grandmaster, it's been a pleasure interviewing you. I love your energy. You're a great leader. First of all, you're a leader, and I love your leadership. I love your energy. I'm 32, and you got the energy of a brother that's 18 years old. You're forever young. So I want to thank you for your time. I also want to thank all our listeners, and we will get those 200 people, and I will be calling you, and inshallah, we will get those 200 people sooner than you can even imagine. And to the entire listening audience, you can listen to a transcript of this show at centralkai.com, the premier Sanuki's Rule dojo in Atlanta, Georgia. And any dojo in America, support Sanuki's Rule, support the USFA, support the leadership of Grandmaster Anaconda. And I'm going to just say, I'm going to end it out by saying eye to eye.
Eye to eye. Thank you. Thank you, Grandmaster.
Thank you. My pleasure.